Today we're talking about people who play the victim after they initiate, instigate, and create a problem. So they start the problem. They starting, but they want to turn around and play the victim. If this has ever happened to you or you witnessed it happen to somebody else, put a PV in the comments for playing victim. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share if you find value here. Let's get this channel to 100,000 subscribers. I know with your help we can reach that goal. One of the most frustrating things to experience is when somebody starts a problem with you, or they just start a problem in general, and because you peep their whole card and you witness how they move, you decide to move accordingly. Whether that means stepping back from them and having nothing to do with them, or contact is very minimal if you must work together and deal with one another, or if they did something personal to you and you confront them about it, and now they want to cry and lie, but they started the problem. How you going to cry and lie with a problem you started? And so that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about 5 reasons why people will play the victim. And I'm specifically talking about people who play the victim, not a real victim of a crime. Let's be very clear. I am talking about you started the problem. They started the problem. But when you confronted them about the issue, or you have totally cut them off, they want to cry and lie. That's what I'm talking about. Not real victims who have been victims of crime, victims of bullying. So let's be clear so that we don't have triggers going on in the comments unnecessarily. So, why does this happen? We're going to hone in on 5 reasons why people play the victim. Number 1, to protect their false image. So when you are dealing with a person, particularly someone who is highly manipulative and narcissistic, that type of personality type, you got to remember that they are portraying one image to the world, but they're a different person behind closed doors. So the people who are closest to them know the true individual, but they don't want that image to get out. And so this is why a lot of times you will hear stories about an individual who is well loved in their social setting, well loved at the job. People like and respect this individual, but you talk to their spouse and their children, and you find out that it is a living hell living with this individual. Or it is a pastor who is well loved, but when you talk to the spouse and the children, you may find out domestic violence and all kind of things are going on behind closed doors, but nobody knows that. And sometimes people will sense it, but to protect that person's image because they're getting a benefit from that person, they will co-sign on the lie. So number 1 is to protect their false image. So this can be the parent who you grew up with who was very verbally abusive, call you out your name. I'm talking, they calling you hoe. They calling you the B word that rhymes with witch. And they are going off on you because you were simply living your life. You didn't do anything to them. Maybe you were grown and on your own. And they just don't like the fact that you are thriving. You bought a new car. You got a new job. Your child is in the school play and has a singing part. So something good happened in your life. You share it. And they just go off and you're like, where's that coming from? And they're like, well, you're not better than me, B. You're not better than me. And you're like, this is crazy. You are my mother. Like, how are you talking to me like this? And I'm sharing good news. And then when you decide to distance yourself and say, you know what? I don't even want you at the play. I don't want the embarrassment of you showing up at the school acting a fool and ruining my child's day. I don't even want you there. Now, they're going to get on the phone. And they're going to tell everybody, you know, my daughter won't let me come to my grandchild's play. And I need to be there for my grandchildren. And I can't believe it. Oh, what an ungrateful, but they don't want to tell how they was calling you all kind of bees and hoes. They don't want to tell how they crashed out on you. They don't want to tell how they threw a drink at you. They don't want to tell all the horrific things they do. This the person that be in church and be like, praise the Lord. And then 2 minutes later, cussing you out with the same tongue. The same tongue. And so remember, they want to protect this image because the people who know them but don't know them well, know them, on a surface level, have this image that this person is a kind, nice person. But you know the real person that just cussed you out 5 minutes ago. You know the person who will show out publicly and embarrass you, and your child now is crying and you got to clean up the tears because grandma want to come act a fool, or uncle or grandpa want to get drunk at the school play and act a fool and be like, don't tell me what to do, and you are thoroughly and utterly embarrassed, and they don't care. They wanted to embarrass you. And so it's about protecting their image, and people will act like this does not go on. And it is a shame. It is a shame when you are being gaslit, particularly when you are being gaslit by other believers, as if these things don't happen. So number one, to protect their false image. Number two, to control the narrative. That's the second reason why a person will play the victim in problems and situations that they instigated and created. So they want to control the narrative, right? And so they may be concerned that you will tell people how they really are. That you will say, well, I'm so tired of her cursing me out. I'm tired of her thinking that she could put hands on me. I'm tired of her thinking, and I'm grown. I'm tired of her thinking that, and then you can fill in the blanks of whatever the particular situation is, right? It could be her or him. I'm using, it doesn't matter. You can fill in the specific person who it is, because I don't know you and I don't know your specifics. So they want to control the narrative. So they're trying to get in front of that narrative because they're afraid that you will expose the real person. And so this is why they're going to say, I don't know why she won't let me come to my grandson's play. I don't know why she's not taking my calls. I mean, I called her 3 times and you're like, I'm not taking your calls because it's for so many bees and holes that I could allow you to call me and not crash out back. And so for my own integrity, for my own peace of mind, I got to distance myself. I got to come out from among you and among your crazy making psychotic ways. So they want to control the narrative. So they're getting in front of the story. Think about like with public relations, and it's a public relations nightmare that a celebrity has, and then they hire someone to try to get in front of the story. It's the same principle. They want to control the narrative. 3, to garner sympathy and cause confusion. And so they want people to sympathize with them, because here's the thing. When a person knows they're not doing right by you, when a person knows that they are creating problems for you, like you are minding your business. This happens with envy a lot. You could be minding your business at the job. You can't help that you got it together, that you're smart, that you're very talented at what you do, that you're professional. Maybe it's just that you're introverted. You don't get caught up in the hypocrisy. You don't get caught up in the politics at the job. You're aware, you got your eyes open, but you don't get caught up. You're not caught up in the gossip. You do your job, you mind your business, you get your money, you go home. There will be people who don't like you because of that, because the fact that you don't get involved in the shenanigans and the low grade behavior exposes that they're involved in the shenanigans and the low grade behavior. You're not judging nobody, but you don't want to be bothered. You want to go to work, get the bag, go home. You're polite, you're cordial, but you're not trying to be in people's homes, have them in your home, and you see how they really get down behind closed doors. And you're like, why would I open my life up to unnecessary drama, stress, anxiety, and problems that don't need to be, when I can discern how you moving out and peeped your whole card? Why would I invite that mayhem into my life? So you're not saying that with your words, but your behavior sends the message that, hey, I'm here to do my job. I'm polite. Good morning. How's everybody doing? I'll even make a coffee run to treat people to coffee. But what I'm not going to do is, once I clock out, I ain't trying to hang out with everybody and have y'all in my business, my personal business. And it's not that I have something to hide. It could be something so simple. It could be something so simple as what I do on Saturday mornings. And maybe I sit by the lake. But even that is none of your business. Even that is none of your business. And so, because you are guarding your heart, And the Bible is clear. Above all else, guard your heart. You're guarding your heart because you see the type of person you're dealing with, right? They want to garner sympathy and cause confusion. And so they want to garner sympathy for their behavior. They want to garner sympathy for the fact that they gossip about you. Well, I didn't really mean to gossip about her, and I wasn't gossiping. And if I slipped, I was just so concerned about her that it slipped out. No, you wasn't. You wasn't concerned. You was a liar. And so I was just so concerned that it slipped out of my mouth. And, I'm going through a lot at home. And, I may have taken it out on her and I didn't mean to, but I'm just going through a lot. And you're like, what does that have to do with me? You going through a lot doesn't give you the right to crash out and spaz out on me. And I've done nothing to you. You going through a personal problem don't give you the right to come, walk up to me, call me out my name, throw something at me. No. And even if you are dealing with a mental health diagnosis, you still have to manage that. That is your responsibility, not mine. This gonna sound rough. Because what we're not going to do is you're not going to make me responsible for your life. You are not my minor child, and you are not my aging parent who I have chosen to be responsible for. You another grown adult like me. You a job for Jesus. I'll pray for you, but I am not required to stay around the chaos and the craziness. I can pray for you in my cubicle, in my house. And so they want to garner sympathy and they want to cause confusion. But the Bible tells us that God is not the author of confusion, right? God is not the author of confusion, but the God of peace. And so if God is not the author of confusion, in accordance with 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 33, that's the scripture, 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 33. If God is not the author of confusion, then the question remains, who is? So we know that ain't coming from God. That malicious, mean-spirited, underhanded, sneaky, wicked behavior, it ain't coming from God. God's not the author of confusion, but what they're trying to do is they're trying to garner sympathy from mutual acquaintances, and they are trying to cause confusion so that people can't get the true read on what's really going on. So they don't know if you started or they started. And so the same parent who's calling you a bee and a hole behind closed doors, remember, people don't see that. Only you and her know that. And so they can't decipher who's telling the truth because they haven't had that experience with your mother, because the version of your mother that they know is the woman who wears the mask, but you get to see the real person. So they don't know she calling you out your name, saying she wish she never had you. You a horrible mother. You're a whore. You're the reason that her and your dad are not. They don't know all of that. And so it's causing confusion. And so people will even call you and say, I can't believe you're not on speaking terms with your mother. Well, my mother calls me all kind of bees and hoes. Your mother says that you are lying, and you have been lying like that since you were a child, and she has so many problems with you, and she, even tried to get you help for your lying, and you're not lying. But nobody else has witnessed this. Nobody else really knows this. And she keeps people at bay enough for them not to really get involved in this. Or here's the other piece. When they do know, because sometimes they know, but there's a benefit attached to that person. So if this is a person who is financially well off and uses their money to control other people, so they're buying this, buying that, then a lot of times people are going to be quiet because there's a benefit that comes with that person, or the person has a lot of influence and power and can open doors for them. We know that God opens doors, right? Whatever door God opens, no man can shut. Whatever door God shuts, no man can open. But we also know that people know people. They have resources. They have connections. And so a lot of times people will turn a blind eye to something that a person is doing that is not right because they're getting a benefit. And so 4, they want to garner sympathy and cause confusion. 5, this is number 5. 5, did I get to number 3? I think I skipped one. So they also want to evade accountability and consequences. I think I skipped that one. So that would be number 4. So they want to evade accountability and consequences, because here's the thing. When somebody instigates a problem with somebody else, there are consequences to our choices. right? We reap what we sow. Science puts it this way: for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. And so for every action, there is an equal and an opposite reaction. So it's going to be one of those paths, right? It's like going up to someone and slapping them in the face. Everybody's not going to walk away from that. There's going to be some people that may walk away, but there's also going to be some people that's going to slap you back. There's going to be some people that's going to put some lead in you over that. They're not even going to slap you. They're never going to attempt to fight you. They're going to put lead in you. So for every action, there's an equal and an opposite action. And there's an equal and opposite reaction. So they want to evade the accountability, but more specifically, not just accountability, the consequences that come with the problem they instigated or initiated. Now, this happened with somebody I know. True story, someone I know, growing up in the neighborhood back in the day. So this guy, the guy might have been in his mid-20s. Let's say he's like 26. And he tells this other guy, and the other guy was about 16. Let's give them names. Rob and Sam. So Rob is about 16, 17. He's sitting on the bench minding his business. He has a chain, a gold chain on. And he's sitting on the bench minding his business. And the other guy, this is Rob. Rob got the chain, minding his business. Rob is 16, 17. And the other guy, who's about 25, 24, something like that, 23, in his 20s, is talking smack to the other guy about his chain, telling him he's going to take his chain. And so now look what's going on. He's telling the guy he's about to rob him, right? And the guy's older than him, and the guy's a little stocky. But what he didn't know about the younger guy is the younger guy was a trained fighter and been training for a long time. So he attempts to take the guy's chain, and the guy whips his behind. So the guy who started being the punk that he was, because that's a real punk move. I really want to say another word, but the Christian in me is not going to say that. So that's a real punk move. That's a real punk move. So now he goes to the precinct and tells the police that the guy tried to rob him, started with him. And so this is a perfect example of a person who wants to evade accountability. So you were so big and bad that you was going to rob this guy. You just felt like you was going to take his chain. It wasn't going to be no consequences. Like, that's crazy. And now that you got your behind whipped, and you older than him, and you got your behind whipped, and I mean whipped, he wailed on this dude. Now you want to cry and lie. That's a punk move. You want to cry and lie. Yes, I said it. If you're offended, you can exit my video. That's a punk move. How you going to rob somebody? You the initiator of the problem. You are technically assaulting someone. You are committing a crime against somebody, but now you want to cry and lie because you got your behind beat. You wrote a check your behind could not cash. You wrote a check your behind could not cash. And you are lucky, because some people will put you in the ground for that, depending on where you come from. You lucky you got off with a behind whooping. Some people would have put you in the ground. Some people would have made you believe you got the better of them because they know how to not get themselves in a situation to catch a case. And it'd be a month later, you be lying in a ditch somewhere. So you're lucky it ended like that. And for the times we're living in, we need to be mindful. You just can't be acting crazy to people. And so when a person, and this is an extreme example, right? This is an extreme example, but I grew up in an extreme neighborhood. So for those who grew up with rose-colored glasses, that's a beautiful thing. But for those who came from the neighborhood like I came from, you know what it is. And so they want to evade accountability and consequences. And it doesn't even have to be that extreme. We'll use a less extreme example. It can be somebody stealing your work and passing it off as your own, as their own. They're on the job. You work really hard. You put this thing together. And for whatever reason, they figured out your password and they submitted this proposal as if it was their own. The supervisor is so excited. Now remember, the supervisor doesn't know because they stole your work and passed it off as their own. And when you confront them about it, Now they want to run to the supervisor saying that they feel uncomfortable around you. They want to use the word uncomfortable. How you didn't feel uncomfortable stealing my work? Answer me this. Answer me this. How you didn't you felt comfortable enough to steal somebody's password, steal their work, pass their work off as your own, but now when you are confronted with facing the consequences of your act, all of a sudden you uncomfortable? Well, that's some real quick uncomfortability. And see, a person wants to evade accountability, but more specifically, because with accountability, there are consequences sometimes. They want to evade the consequences, right? Because number one, you that's a data breach. It's a possibility that you get fired. But rather than doing your own work, coming up with your own ideas and your own creativity, you want to steal somebody else's work, but then lie and cry when they confront you. See, they want to evade accountability and consequences. And the last one, which would be connected to the first example of the guy who ripped off the chain of the other guy's neck. So the fifth reason why people will play the victim is they want to get you in trouble for the trouble they started. They want to get you in trouble for the trouble they started. So whether this trouble means reprimanded at the job, right? So in the case of the individual who steals the person's work, passes it off as their own, then when the person confronts them, now they feel intimidated and uncomfortable. But you sure wasn't intimidated when you was guessing them passwords and you was doing a data breach. You wasn't uncomfortable then. So they want to get you in trouble for the trouble they started. They want to get you reprimanded. They want to get you fired. Or if it's a situation where they are being aggressive towards you, like in the situation with the two guys, they want to get you arrested, even though you truly are the victim. The guy who the chain was taken from him, he the victim. And the other guy was talking that talk of everything he was going to do. And so they want to get you arrested or caught up in a legal battle. It's important to know this because you got to know who you're dealing with. We can't be naive about people in this world. Now, let me be very clear. There are beautiful, wonderful, kind-hearted, good people in the world. But we're not talking about that. We're not talking about that. On this channel, we deal with defeating life's devils, detecting deception, and navigating the twists, turns, and trauma of life with biblical wisdom, resilience, and grace while reaching for our goals and dreams. So that's what you get when you come to this channel. So if you come in the comments with craziness, you already know my comment section is not the Wild Wild West, no matter how you feel about it. And my team will simply delete it. So if you got time to waste, knock yourself out. The comment will be deleted. Let's be clear. So here's the scripture. Matthew 23, verses 27 and 28. Now, this is speaking to scribes and Pharisees, right? But this principle applies to anybody with a hypocritical spirit. So Matthew 23, verse 27 and 28 says, "Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you are like whitewashed tombs which outwardly appear beautiful, but within are full of dead people's bones and uncleanliness. So you also outwardly appear righteous to others, but within you are full of hypocrisy and lawlessness." So look at what it's saying. Now, this is speaking to false Pharisees and scribes, but this can also be applied to people in general that are hypocritical. And so look at the analogy, like whitewashed tombs. So think about when you go to a graveyard and you see these beautiful tombs. But even though the tomb is beautiful, you do know what's inside there, what's in the ground. So the tomb may be very expensive, right? The headstone may be very expensive. You paid a lot of money. It's marble. I mean, but at the end of the day, regardless of how beautiful and whitewashed it looks on the outside, what's inside, what's in the ground is death. Death. And so when you are dealing with a person who starts problems with other people, who victimizes other people, but then want to lie and cry and play the victim, you are dealing with a person who's like a whitewashed tomb. Outside, everything look clean. because people don't really know them like that. But inside, they're full of death. See, the enemy, John 10:10 says, the thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy, but Christ comes so that we may have life and have life more abundantly. And so when you're dealing with that thieving spirit, because a person who plays the victim, not a real victim, but a person who starts problem and plays the victim, they are trying to steal your integrity. They are trying to steal your reputation. They're trying to steal the narrative by lying and crying when they started a problem. And then it goes on to say, so you also outwardly appear righteous to others. So they appear righteous to others, but within they are full of hypocrisy and lawlessness. So bringing it back to the guy that took the chain from the other guy and wrote himself a check his behind couldn't cash. He was full of lawlessness. You just feel you're going to take something from somebody just because you feel like you can? You're full of lawlessness. You're full of lawlessness. And so you will encounter people who are like that. And I don't want us to be naive for those who are connected to Cassandra Mack Ministries. And so know the reasons why, because if you know these 5 reasons, you are better able to know how to maneuver with this individual that you might be dealing with who started a problem with you, but they want to turn around, cry and lie and play the victim. So with that being said, keep your head up, be wise, be discerning. If you want specific strategies and tactics beyond what we talk about in the public videos, I would encourage you to become a member of the Cassandra Mack YouTube channel at the Wellness Club tier. It is in the Wellness Club that we go into specific strategies and tactics and goals for the various areas of our lives. The Wednesday Wellness Club is a therapeutic group that meets twice a month. The first and third Wednesday of every month, we meet by telephone conference call. So we're talking to each other live. And we focus on psychological self-care, spiritual self-care, mental well-being, emotional well-being, and emotional mastery and success through a biblical lens. And it is cheaper than therapy. It is a very therapeutic group. And it is also coaching. You're getting specific coaching, but it's in a group setting. You're getting coaching tips, and it is therapeutic. And so when you think about the cost of therapy or the cost of a coaching session, which can start at $250 an hour, it is way, 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 way cheaper than therapy, cheaper than coaching. So I would encourage you to check it out. You'll see a link in the video description box. You should also see a button that says join, but if you don't see the join button, you'll see the link. And when you click on it, you will see that there are 4 tiers of membership. If you want access to the Wednesday Wellness Club, make sure to join at the Wednesday Wellness Club tier. If you are a leader and entrepreneur, we have a special tier for you that's called the Winner's Circle. And that's where we meet once a month by Zoom, so we get to see each other. And we focus on entrepreneurship and specific leadership strategies through a biblical lens. So you're leaving with strategy. In that tier, you also get an action guide each month. So for every Zoom meeting, you actually get an action guide that you can print out that goes through the main ideas that you need to take away from that meeting and how to implement it so that you're putting it into practice. And so that comes with that tier. So I would encourage that. I also want to let you know we have a vision board workshop coming up Saturday, September 23rd, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we will be creating vision boards with a focus on ending the year strong and starting the new year with clarity and focus. So people ask, are vision boards biblical? It depends who is leading the vision board. My vision boards are based on Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 2, Habakkuk 2:2, which says, write the vision and make it plain so that he who reads it may run with it. So when you are creating a vision board in my workshop, what you are doing is you are writing the vision by way of the words that you're putting on your paper and by way of the images, the pictures that you are putting on your paper. So we are writing the vision, we are making it plain in accordance with Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 2. So what happens with a lot of people when they create a vision board, the reason why they don't have success and it's a year later and they're like, I haven't accomplished any of my goals, is because most people, your vision board is more like a smorgasbord. It got everything except the kitchen sink on the board. Or it's like a collage. There are a bunch of pictures and words, but they're not aligned. It doesn't attach to one another in a meaningful, cohesive way. And so what we'll be doing in my vision board workshop, which is a 5-fold vision board workshop. So it is very, very focused and it is very strategic. We're not all over the place. It is a 5-fold vision board workshop. And we're going to be focusing on really beginning to look at the things that you want for next year and putting the work in, starting with the few weeks that we have this year to end the year strong so that you're really solidified and set up to move into those goals. So whether your goals and your vision is mental health, you might have mental health goals, maybe it's emotional healing. There's some childhood trauma and you want to really begin to heal that area of your life. Maybe your goals are financial. Perhaps your goals are related to a business idea that you want to start. Maybe you want to start your own YouTube channel, your own podcast. You want to dive in deeper in terms of being a content creator. Maybe you have a ministry that God put on your heart and you really want to move forward in that with a sense of clarity and a sense of boldness in who you are in God. Bring those ideas to this vision board workshop. So it is a ticketed event. And the link is in the video description box. When you click on the link, it'll take you to Eventbrite. I would encourage you not to wait to get your tickets because I'm limiting the seating so that I really have time to pour into you and walk you through the process that we'll be using for my 5-fold vision board workshop. And so I would encourage you to get your tickets if you're interested. If not, you won't get a ticket. But if you're interested, get your ticket. And let's really begin to look at ending this year strong. I also want to let you know, if you're dealing with haters, pick up my book, Rise Above the Haters. It is a journal that will help you become what I call hater proof. It gives you very clear and precise biblical strategies that you can employ so that you are strengthened and you know how to move when you're dealing with a hater. My books are available at Amazon. They're also, some of them, not all of them are available at Amazon. Some are available at Barnes and Noble. Some are available at Walmart and some are available at Target, but your best bet is Amazon because they're all available there. If you type in my name, Cassandra Mack, my books will come up. If my books have blessed you in any way, let me know which one. Let me know in the comment section and write a review so other people can know about that book if it's been a blessing. Do write an Amazon review. Reviews help us get the book into more people's hands. So with that being said, this Sunday at Church by Phone, we're going to be talking about the breaking point. This is a very, very important topic. You know, what do you do when you feel like you are at your breaking point? You are so stressed. You are so overwhelmed. I want to let you know that God will meet you in the breaking points and what that looks like. So that's what we're going to be diving into this Sunday at Church by Phone. If you want more information for Church by Phone, you can go to the ministry website, CassandraMackMinistries.com, CassandraMackMinistries.com, and you will see the flyer with the times and the number when you go to the website. Have an awesome day. Let's do our best to be kind to one another. There's a lot of meanness in this world. Let's do our best to not add to that. Let's be kind, but at the same time, we need to be smart and wise when you're out and about in these streets, going to and from wherever you're going to and from. Make sure to take your wisdom and your common sense with your kindness. God bless you. Talk to you soon.
No matter who you are, you will have haters. John 15 verse 18 says, if the world hates you, know that it hated Jesus first. So if you have haters, know that God is greater than your haters. Lately you've been feeling the weight of your haters coming at you with their envy and their hate, scheming against you, throwing mud on your name, but God's gonna work it out despite their lies and game. God is greater, so much greater than your haters. God is greater, don't give up, it'll pay off later. God is greater, through the pain you're about your goals. Keep rising, keep shining. Your haters can't stop no show. They can hate all they want to. Remember you are blessed. Never let a hater see you sweat, 'cause this is just a test. God is greater, so much greater than your haters. God is greater. Don't give up, it'll pay off later. God is greater. Through the pain, you're a giant slayer. Let the haters hate while you elevate. Don't let the negativity poison your mind. Run your race with grace, one day at a time. They can laugh and they can mock you, but you won't miss a beat. When people don't receive you, shake the dust off your feet. God is greater, so much greater than your haters.